Conversations from the Cave is a raw self-help podcast dedicated to discussing men's issues. From pornography to parenting, from religion to real life, from learning to loving. We discuss the real issues that affect real men every day. Join us each week for powerful, revealing Conversations from the Cave. Now your host, Kirk Kennedy.
Welcome to yet another week of Conversations from the Cave. I'm very, very excited that we're able to get this show back up and running. We've had a little bit of technical difficulty, and it is exciting to see that that technical difficulty is behind us. We're joined in studio, as we are each and every week, by a panel of just awesome guys. And to my right, Mustang, can you go ahead and check in for us? Let us know you're in the house.
Hey, this is Mustang. I just finished my hot wing, so I'm ready to go, guys.
And to my left, Nola, can you chime in for us? Let us know you're here.
Yes, sir. This is Nola 73. Meet you where you at.
Well, gentlemen, we have talked about the importance of winning when it seems like you're losing. When you're having setbacks, when it seems like things are just not going the way that we had planned. How do we win in the face of setbacks? How do we win in the face of loss? How do we make it through these things? And apparently a lot of this is tied to our attitudes and so on and so forth. But gentlemen, I'm just going to open this up more to provide us with a more open forum this week. And you guys have been talking about some really powerful topics. So Mustang, I'm going to cut to you real quick and let you share some of your thoughts about winning in the face of setbacks.
Well, definitely, I feel like when you're, to win in the face of setbacks, I believe the first thing is persistence. Now, of course, for us, I would say, I dare say, faith first, but, on a basic what we can control level as humans. And again, you go to, in my opinion, you go to the higher power when you have no power to control what you can control with the things given in front of you. But persistence, the same thing. We had some technical difficulties, but we could have stopped and said, we're done with the show, But instead, we said, no, we're going to keep going. We're going to persist on. We're going to keep moving. Right. Until we eventually figured out what the situation was. So, right. And that I would call that a win as opposed to a loss because, we definitely could have not, this message could have not reached other people. So I definitely say keep pushing. There's many times, when you get the, we may have talked about this already when, you've got two men heading, looking for gold, both gold mining, and you got the picture of the one guy who stops literally like a foot or even a few inches from the gold and turns around and is like, you know what? I'm done. I've worked far enough. I've come this far. Nothing. I haven't seen an ounce of gold. I'm going back. And then you have the other picture of the other guy who's heading straight for it. And he's like, I'm not going to stop swinging until this axe hits gold. So that's what I would definitely say. If you want to have a winner mentality in the face of what is seemingly a loss, persistence.
That's a great, great, great message. Nola, do you have a vantage point or a perspective that you'd care to share on winning in the face of loss?
Sure. Let me just piggyback off of Brother Mustang and just say that, we all have times where we feel like the road that we're on is a dead end. And I've been in many situations like that myself. Of course, y'all know that I've been traveling and I've been down in Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas in the last 3 months. And one of the things that I've dealt with was a lot of adversity coming from upper management and being away from my house. They have pulled some situations out of me that I thought I suppressed. And what I've learned was that the road that I was on was actually a road of test, a road of triumph. And I failed because I let someone else get control of my emotions, get control of my goal and my quest that I set out to achieve for myself. And what I saw after talking to a friend of mine was that I had a lot on my plate that I was dealing with. And, we have to sometimes sit back and look at what we have on our plate, what we dealing with in our personal lives. And when you sit back and you really contemplate what's going on, you will see that, you do have a lot on your plate, but what have you come from? What else have you been through? And so that road that you're on, it may have no way for you to go, because what you see is not what God sees. And so what God sees is if you just keep persevering, if you just keep pushing forward, if you just keep having that endurance to run your race, just walk in faith. And quit looking with your sight. Just walk by faith that I'm gonna get my business started, or I'm gonna get this. It may have a lot of doors out there that's gonna close in your face. There's gonna be a lot of mountains that you're gonna have to climb, and you ain't gonna have no rope. You ain't gonna have no straps. You ain't gonna have no backpack, no water. But at the end of the day, you are still waking up. You're still moving forward. You don't know what strength you're doing it on. You don't, because if you really sit back, sometimes you'll learn that, man, I haven't eaten in about 4 days, but you still got energy to move forward. Man, I haven't drunk water in 2 days, but you're still moving forward. In the heat of the sun, you're still moving forward, and you don't know what strength you're doing it on. Yes, you're frustrated. Yes, you're complaining to a lot of people, and people may tell you, you know what, just keep hanging on in there. Just keep moving forward. Don't give up. And you don't know why you're not giving up. That's when you got the Holy Spirit. That's when you got God behind you, just carrying you, just walking with you. And you don't see the end, but he does. And when you get there, the appreciation, the gratification that you're going to receive is greater than any nomination that anybody can give to you. Why? Because you did it yourself. And so sometimes there's a road that we're going to walk down where we don't see the end of the tunnel. But there is the end, and we just have to keep moving forward and keep persevering, and we're going to get there. So when you think that you're losing, you're really not losing. You just haven't got to the winning mark yet. And once you cross that finish line, that's when you're going to feel gratification.
Your points are really very, very encouraging. I want to share two thoughts related to what each of you have spoken about tonight. Or today. Number one, I had an experience, and as you guys know, I've been dealing with my own share of setbacks and challenges, and for everything from having my office flooded to not being able to move to a new location in the midst of this flood to challenges on the home front to just a bunch of things. And it is very, very easy to look at those things and say, where is God in the middle of all of this? Where is God, why am I being tested this way? You start asking, well, what's the point of this? And why do I need to be tested in this way? Why can't we just, have some things going well? But I had an experience where I was working with a patient, and she had come in, and she had been suffering with an eye condition for a while. This patient was really, really sick, and her husband was a very persistent man who had heard about some of the services that we provided to certain kinds of patients, and she happened to have been a patient who could have benefited. And for probably about 6 months, she kept telling her husband, "No, I've already traveled to Atlanta. I've traveled to Nashville. I've traveled to Birmingham. I've traveled all over, and the answer's still the same." And I said, "Well, in the course of this discussion, well, what made you finally change your mind? Because obviously he convinced you to come in." And she said, "Well, it wasn't what he said. It was just the fact that there was this aching sensation in my mind. What if I gave up one time before I got my answer. And she, exactly what you said, exactly what you guys both verbalized, which is give it one more try. So I said, well, if you had to tell patients what would you tell a patient who's had a lot of bad news, just repeatedly? And she says, just give it one more try. Don't give up hope, because you never know. You just never know that your answer may be just around the next corner. And the fact that you gave up just before the success that you'd always hoped for, just before the opportunity that you've dreamt of, and you've practiced and fallen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, but the 101 time, it's funny. There's always this story that's been told about Formula 409. That meant that there were 408 bad formulas before Formula 409.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I just want to put it out there. How many times are you willing to do 408 things wrong before you get number 409? That's it. That's where the rubber meets the road. And I think, for me, there are times where I know personally, as just giving myself a gut check, man, I'm like, shoot, I don't know if I want to do 408 times to try to get it right for 409. It's rough, and that persistence is rough. What were you going to say, Mustang?
Oh no, I agree. And like you said, the 408, and I think a lot of times if we knew that, we wouldn't we wouldn't do it. But a big thing about persistence is that I've heard, and I never got it until I did it, was fail your way to success. And I was like, what in the heck does fail your way to success mean? Well, fail your way to success, there's a proverb, I believe it is it's not, the crime is not that people aim too high and miss. It's that people aim too low and hit. I remember thinking last year, I told myself, I said, when I started this business, I said, I want to break 5 figures. I want to get 5 figures in 1 month by May. I want to hit at least $10,000 by May in a month. And I didn't do it. I hit May and I did not do it. But I got pretty darn close, and I got close the next month, and closer still and closer still. And to be honest with you, I'm being very vulnerable by being open here. I broke 5 figures last month. That was my first time ever breaking 5 figures in 1 month.
Congrats. That's absolutely awesome.
So I finally got to that stage, and I'm not saying that to brag on anything, because let me explain something to you. I felt like last month was one of my laziest months I have ever had. I did not get up one time at 4:30 like I usually do. It was not the kind of story people want to hear, but it's the truth. And I said, God, you have undeservingly blessed me this month. I have no idea why you allowed me to get it. Now, still, it was all work I did. Every single bit, it was work I did. But the point in case is I continuously failed. The point of the story is I failed my way to success. I kept failing, and the numbers were showing. Now, mind you, the numbers the months before were closer than I've ever been. But I've never made what I make now doing something I love at any other job. Right. And yet I failed having months where I had $100, I had $50, or I had $300. That was all I made for the month. 150, 400, 500, still negative in accounts. And let me explain to you guys, I still have accounts out there that still need to be settled. I still have credit cards that have money on it that I've got to pay. So I'm a human. I bleed like everybody else. I still got problems like everybody else, but I'm coming, you know what I mean? But my point is that we fail our way to, I still got credit scores. I got to get to where I want. I don't want them where, I don't have them where I want to get them. So I don't want you to think that this is all, this guy's amazing. No, that's not the case. I'm still human. But if you set a goal and you set it right where it's attainable, but it's difficult to reach, then you can fail your way all the way till you finally hit it.
I like your use of the turn of the phrase "fail your way to success," and I use the word "fall forward into success." It's the idea is that if you're gonna fall,